The year is 1962. The place is a jagged rock in the middle of San Francisco Bay, surrounded by freezing, shark-infested waters and lethal currents. They called it the Rock, Alcatraz. It was the end of the line for the most dangerous criminals in America, a place where the walls were thick, the guards were many, and the hope of escape was zero. Or so the United States government believed. Deep inside B Block, 4 men were whispering. Frank Morris, the mastermind with an IQ in the top 2% of the population, and brothers John and Clarence Anglin, along with Alan West. They weren't just planning a breakout. They were engineering a miracle. For 6 months, right under the noses of the most elite guards in the federal system, they were building the impossible. While other prisoners slept, these men were working, using discarded saw blades, spoons stolen from the mess hall, and a makeshift drill powered by a vacuum cleaner motor. They painstakingly chipped away at the moisture-damaged concrete surrounding the air vents in their cells. Night after night, the sound of the grinding metal was masked by the music hour a time, when prisoners were allowed to play instruments. But digging a hole wasn't enough. They needed to fool the guards during night counts. This is where the artistry began. Using a mixture of soap, toilet paper, and real hair, collected from the prison barbershop, they sculpted 3 incredibly lifelike dummy heads. They painted them with flesh-toned colors from the prison's art kits. When placed under the blankets, these decoys looked exactly like sleeping men. The most difficult challenge wasn't the walls, it was the water. No one had ever survived the swim to the mainland. The currents were strong enough to pull a ship off course, and the temperature was a bone-chilling 50 degrees. To conquer the bay, they gathered over 50 raincoats. They spent weeks secretly stitching and vulcanizing the rubber, using the heat from the prison's steam pipes. They created a 6 by 14-foot inflatable raft and crewed life vests. June 11, 1962. The sun sets over San Francisco. The guards perform the 9:30 p.m. count. Everything looks normal. 3 heads rest on pillows, seemingly fast asleep, but the real men are already gone. They squeezed through the widened vents into a narrow utility corridor behind their cells. They climbed the plumbing pipes to the roof, hauled their heavy rubber raft across the ceiling, and slid down a kitchen vent pipe to the ground. At the shoreline, they inflated their raft using a small concertina, musical instrument, converted into a bellows. They pushed off into the dark, foggy void of the Pacific. The next morning, the prison erupted in chaos. When a guard tried to wake Frank Morris, the dummy head rolled off the bed and onto the floor. The unescapable prison had been breached. The FBI launched the largest manhunt since the Lindbergh kidnapping. They found remnants of the raft and a plastic bag containing personal photos of the Anglin brothers. But they never found the men, not dead and not alive. The official report claimed the men drowned, swept out to sea by the relentless tide, but the mystery refused to die. Decades later, the families of the Anglin brothers began receiving strange clues. A Christmas card with handwriting that matched the brothers, a photograph allegedly taken in Brazil in 1975, showing 2 men who looked remarkably like John and Clarence. In 2013, the San Francisco Police Department received a letter. It read, "My name is John Anglin. I escaped from Alcatraz in June 1962 with my brother Clarence and Frank Morris. I'm 83 years old and in bad shape. I have cancer. Yes, we all made it that night, but barely. Was it a hoax or a confession from the grave?" To this day, the U.S. Marshals Service keeps the case open. Alcatraz was closed less than a year after the escape, its reputation as an inescapable fortress shattered forever. Whether they survived the freezing waters or were swallowed by the bay remains the greatest disappearing act in American history. The 3 men who walked through walls and vanished into the fog left behind a question that still haunts the shores of San Francisco. Did they really make it? If this story of the impossible escape gripped you, there are many more hidden chapters of history waiting to be told by liking this video and sharing it. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a journey into the world's greatest mysteries.